This is Matt for Into Boxing, delighted to be joined once again by Callum French. As Mason just said, you're French but you're English.
French Montana.
Just in your open workout here, you're fighting on Joe Cordina's Undercard at the weekend. Talk to me, how you feeling?
Feeling good, mate. It's been a good camp. Been putting the graft in. Had a little week off after my last fight, then straight back in the gym, ready for the next step. What was next straight away. Good energies, good, ready to go.
Last time out it was Warrington's card in Leeds, first direct arena. How did you find it? Have you had a chance to look back at your performance, give yourself, not like a grading, but seeing what you could have done better, what you did well?
Yeah, I got the stoppage in my last fight. It was nice to get an early stoppage in the career. Obviously it takes the pressure off now. Now you don't have to go looking for it. I think this opponent comes a bit on Saturday night as well, so I definitely won't have to go looking for him. Hopefully I can walk him onto one of the shots and get another stoppage.
Is that what you're wanting at this stage of your career? Someone who will give you that bit of seasoning, won't just come to survive, but will come at you a little bit, and will that play into your hands a little bit? Because I know you can bang, and obviously you're wanting to show that a bit more. Is this sort of opponent you think sort of tailor-made for you and your style?
Of course, you want tests. You don't want to just go in there and have someone just survive. You want someone who's going to open up a bit to give you some opportunities to land some shots yourself. So, like I say, I know my opponent's going to come on Saturday, so we'll be looking to open them up, and like I say, we'll not be looking for the stoppage, but if it comes, I won't hesitate to take it.
Yeah. We talk about sort of this era of British boxing, and we look at the people who have retired, your likes of Amir Khan, Kelbrook. Even a couple of years ago you've had your Bellews, your Hayes. These were the pay-per-view stars that sort of British boxing had, and they're moving forward. We've still got Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, obviously Fury, but do you look at this now, this scene, and see all the people who are sort of leaving and see it as a bit of a race to say, you know what, I'm just going to keep banging on that door till one day that's my time, and there'll be chance for that sort of later on in your career? Definitely.
Just look at the last crop from Rio. Obviously we've got Joe headlining on Saturday in his hometown. It's inspiring seeing that, because I was Joe's main sparring partner leading up to the Rio Olympics down at GB. Obviously spent a lot of time with him then, and then been down to the matchroom gym sparring with him. So like I say, it's inspiring seeing him go from like that to where he is now headlining his own show for a world title, because that's where I want to be in a couple of years' time. I want to be up in Newcastle headlining one for the Geordie boys to cheer on. So like I say, there's a lot of it's pushing us on, seeing all these the crop that came before us do well and go on to fight for world titles. It just shows we're not quite at that level yet, but we will be at that level in a couple of years' time.
Talk to me about them sparring sessions with Joe. Obviously he's very slick, and he's going against Agua at the weekend, who he's not going to be coming to mess around. He's going to want to lose his title. How do you sort of make that matchup out? A lot of people are saying it's going to be a really tough test for Joe. They're not saying this is he'll be able to just go grab the belt of him. What do you expect to happen in that fight?
Yeah, it's good. He's a good fighter, Agua. It's going to be a tough test, but you're not going to get an easy fight for a world title. That's it. It's definitely a winnable fight for Joe. I know how good Joe is, the level Joe's at skill-wise. He just needs to implement that on Saturday night, and I think he'll be good enough. I think he's got the tools to get the job done against him.
You think it'll go the distance, or you think Joe managed to get the stoppage? Because it's one of them where you look at it and think, obviously everyone's expecting Agua to come out and put it on Joe a little bit. Yeah. You think he'll be able to sort of nullify that and just show his class throughout the fight? You think he'll get the stoppage? How would you see it if you're a betting man? What would you say would happen?
I'm going to go Joe on points. I think if Agua comes out and tries to put it on Joe, it'll play into Joe's hands a bit, because he's a very, very sharp counter puncher. He's very slick, very, very hard to hit, and he can hit himself. So if he can put a bit on his shots early on to stop Agua coming, it'll make it easier down the line for him. But I'm going to go Joe points.
Another huge fight that's happening this weekend. I want to get your opinion. Devin Haney is in Australia now to fight George Kambosos without a trainer. I think Judah's gone over there to help out because his dad couldn't get in the country. He's fighting for all the marbles, and he'll be able to. If he wins, I think he'd quieten a lot of people who say he was an email champion kind of thing. And we know what George Kambosos has done. Took all the belts off Tiafimo, no one gave him a chance. What's your opinion? Break that fight down for us. What's going to happen in that fight?
So I think Devin Haney's massively underrated. I think a lot of people say because he can't punch and that he's like one of the least good out of all the lightweights at that top level at the minute. But I think Devin Haney will be one of them people that when you're in there with him, he'll be very, very hard to beat. I think it's going to be Devin Haney on points, definitely. I think Kambosos might underestimate him a little bit. I think it's going to be a very technical matchup. Obviously Kambosos will try and put it on him a bit, but I think Devin Haney's very good at slowing the pace down in the fight, and I think he does that better than anyone. And I think Devin Haney, maybe split. I'm going to go Devin Haney split.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about if it goes points, is he going to get a decision and all that kind of stuff, but obviously that's not in his hands what the judges do. He's just got to go over there, I suppose, and just lock in and say, I can only do what I can do. But you'd hope, to all hopes, that he gets a fair crack of the whip out there, wouldn't you?
You would hope so, but that isn't always the case, isn't it? We know boxing, but like I say, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a very close fight, technical fight. Kambosos will try and come. Haney will slow the pace down. I think Haney will pick the better shots. He's a lot more composed than Kambosos.
He's a few, is it?
Tongue twister that. He's a lot more composed than Kambosos, and I think Haney will get a points win.
It's going to be interesting, and there's so many good fighters in and around that weight from them. So you look like Gervonta Davis and his performance against Rolly Romero. What did you make of that fight? Did you see the highlights of the fight or catch it?
I just seen the knockout. Really, it went how I thought it was going to go. Rolly's quite wild and quite raw, but he's strong, and you could see like he was putting a lot on his shots early on. But I think it was just a matter of time before Tank caught him with one leg.
Well, Callum, it's been a pleasure talking. Good catching up. Tell us what we can expect Saturday night. You have the last word.
Expect another dominant performance behind me tidy boxing. If not going to looking for the stoppage, but if it comes, I won't hesitate to take it.
Callum, thanks for giving in 2 boxing some of your time again. Fingers crossed we'll catch up after the fight or at the next one. Appreciate it.